On the news tonight, President Buhari confers national honors to more than 400 Nigerians. Military airstrike kills terror kingpin Ali Dogo in Kaduna State. And NAFDAC raises alarm over killer cough syrups from India. Well, many thanks for joining us on News Now. I am Folashade Ogorinde. President Muhammadu Buhari has presented national honors to 447 Nigerians and friends of the country. The 2022 National Honors Award investiture took place at the International Conference Center in Abuja on Tuesday. The recipients were awarded with the Grand Commander of the Order of the Niger, GCON, Commander of the Order of the Federal Republic, CFR, and Commander of the Order of the Niger, CON. Atahiru Ibrahim, the former Chief of Army Staff, and Abba Kyari, the former Chief of Staff to the President, were awarded a posthumous honor. Details in this report. One after the other, all 447 selected awardees from 5,000 nominees submitted for consideration received national titles conferred by President Muhammadu Buhari. The recipients were awarded the Grand Commander of the Order of the Niger, GCON, Commander of the Order of the Federal Republic, GFR, and Commander of the Order of the Niger, CON. Abba Kyari, the former Chief of Staff to the President, received a posthumous CFR award which was presented to his daughter. Other awardees include Governor Rotimi Akeredolu of Ondo State, Director General of the World Health Organization Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, the Minister of Works and Housing Babatunde Fashola, Governor Ifeanyi Okowa of Delta State, among others. The guests were also treated to a live performance of some national cultural dance. In his appreciation speech on behalf of all the awardees, Senate President Hamad Lawan highlighted some of the importance of the award to nation building.
We are therefore inspired, motivated, and admonished to keep up our aim as stakeholders in the building of a better nation. This is why I call on awardees to be steadfast, all of us considering the responsibility that comes with these honors. This obligation is one of leadership, more and provision of inspiration for others as well. Mr. President has done it big, not just because it is a statutory process, but because of a commitment to involve as many students as are worthy in the cause of stimulating others towards the common goal of nation building. I'm confident we are all well-meaning and ready to sustain our contribution, be sacrificial in our outlooks, and to be good examples in what we do for the evolution of a better nation.
Also speaking, President Muhammadu Buhari, while congratulating recipients of the award, praised some of the awardees for their exceptional works.
I congratulate all the recipients today who will be joining the league of awardees. I appreciate the non-Nigerian recipients and assure all of you that this administration will undertake your local businesses to allow you to sustain your efforts at contributing to the development of our nation, Nigeria. The national honors are not merely decorative. They remind us of an important part of our responsibility as students. We must always endeavor to do our best for our country.
According to the Ministry of Special Duties and Intergovernmental Affairs, a total of 5,341 persons have so far received Nigeria's National Honours Awards since its inception in October 1st, 1963. Folashade Ogorinde, TV360 News. To speak more on the 2022 National Honours Award investiture, Liberus Oshoma, legal expert, joins me now. Thank you very much for joining us. Now, critics of national awards have always argued that the conferment of awards is often political, and that of 2022 is no different. Do you agree?
Yes, thank you, Falashade. I completely agree that even though there are a few departures here and there, like the man who rescued some Christians from being slaughtered by the Boko Haram, and then the truck driver that drove that risked his life to drive the burning truck away, from harming people. All of these are the kind of you know, people we should be giving award. But a situation where we're complaining that the administration has not done so well. Most of the states are borrowing, can't even think outside the box to provide, opportunities to pay salaries and create wealth. Yet, at the end of the day, we see national honors being dished out to them in appreciation of what I do not know. And then you see ministers. We have bad roads all over, and the minister has been given a minister for work is being given an award. So all of this, the Senate that hardly passed law that have affected the lives of Nigerians positively. You also hear that awards are given to Senate president, and so when the average Nigerian, what comes to the mind of the average person is that look, these people are just compensating themselves. It's a way of saying, I'm leaving office. Thank you for all of the assistance you have given to me so far. This shouldn't be described as a national award. Rather, it should be described as an appreciation plaque by president of Nigeria to people who had worked, under him. So that's the way I see it, really. Apart from, calling it a national award. You look at for some time now the Mo Ibrahim Award for deserving leaders in Africa. Over time, for some years, had been suspended. So you begin to ask yourself: so if the criteria are very stringent, and so in Africa, nobody has been able to meet that criteria for some time. But every day we dish out awards to 100 and something persons, all in the name of compensating bad governance. So I completely agree with the average Nigerian who believes that this should compensation for government officials, and it should be described as such. It shouldn't be called a national merit award. It should be called a plaque of appreciation by the president to people in government.
Well, indeed, liberal social legal expert, thank you very much for your time and your contribution. The Defense Headquarters has said an airstrike at Yadi in Giwa local government area of Kaduna State by Operation Whale Punch has killed terror kingpin Ali Dogo and scores of his foot soldiers. This was disclosed in a statement by the Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Musa Dan Madami, on Tuesday, where he explained that the operation was carried out based on credible intelligence. General Dan Madami said during the airstrikes, a terrorist kingpin, Ali Dogo, aka Yellow, alongside his fighters were neutralized in a building they were said to have been hosting a meeting. He said Ali Dogo and his fighters were said to have relocated to Kaduna State following continued bombardment on his location in Niger State. And now to politics. Despite several sensitization against usage of vulgar and abusive language by political parties and their candidates, some politicians and political parties have been found wanting. According to INEC, abusive, slanderous or base language likely to provoke violent reaction or emotions should not be employed or used in political campaigns. Well, to discuss this further, legal expert and political affairs analyst Evan Tufeli joins me now. Thank you very much for joining us. Now, it's been barely 2 weeks since the kickoff of the official opening of campaigns in Niger ahead of the 2023 elections. But we've seen some politicians actually using abusive languages against other parties. And recall that a peace pact has been signed to prevent violence during the elections. But what do you make of this recent development? And do you think somehow Nigerian politicians can grow out of the habit of actually throwing insultive words at other parties and make sure that their campaign is actually issue-based?
Yeah, our politicians have developed that very sad and unfortunate habit of making utterances that are inflammable, utterances that will incite the supporters of one party against the other. The essence of the peace pact, which they signed, the peace accord that they signed, is to ensure that they use continent language, they behave themselves according to the dictates and principles of law, so that they don't create infractions that may lead to breakdown of law and order. What we have seen so far since INEC opened the floodgates for campaign, it has been from using one abusive word or the other from virtually all the presidential candidates of the parties in questions. Recently, the presidential candidate of the APC have called the PDP party of termites. Okay, using such word is quite very unfortunate. It is unfortunate because 2023 election is going to be a turning point in the history of Nigeria. And the last thing we want to talk about is crisis. We have the crisis of poverty already. We have the crisis of insurgency. We have the crisis of banditry and the host of other social vices that are permeated the socio-economic and socio-economic situation of the Nigerian state. So politicians should be cautioned, because apart from the fact that none of them really have any visible manifesto, which is annoying enough, they come out to make utterances like some of them come out to tell you how they are going to change Nigeria, how they are going to exterminate poverty, how they are going to make sure that they don't give you, they just tell you that they are going to exterminate poverty. They don't tell you how. They don't tell you, they don't give you. What is expected of them is for them to unveil their manifesto and then canvass issues and arguments based on economic solution. That is what we need. Nigeria does not need this using of derogatory words, casting aspersion on people because of they believe in a political leaning and all that. And this also goes to the followers and the supporters of this presidential candidate. It's not just the presidential candidates that are using vulgar words, abusive words, and casting aspersion on people. Their supporters are also doing the same. You understand? So many persons are already cocooned in their belief system, such that they are so intolerant. They are so fixated in partisan obscurantism that they are unable to see the other side of the divide, that politics is not a do or die affair. It is not war. We are not preparing for war. We are preparing for a transition, and that transition must be constitutional, and we must look at the INEC also have released the guidelines, which they made public, which they sent to all the political parties. And in the guidelines, it is clear that there should be no issues of this kind, these issues we have right now. So it is left for us to caution them and then make sure that we at all times, infuse that message in all our conversation, that this is going to be a peaceful election, and all we need is to maintain peace and order for the transition that is required, because the work ahead for us is far, far bigger. We need to do a lot in this country.
Evans Ufeli, legal expert and political affairs analyst, thank you very much for your time and your contribution. The National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control has raised alarm over the use of 4 cough syrups linked to acute kidney injuries and children's deaths in the Gambia. According to the World Health Organization, the 4 products are promethazine oral solution, Cofexmelin baby cough syrup, Markov baby cough syrup, and Maghrib N cold syrup. According to NAFDAC Director General Mojisola Adeyeye at a briefing, the products are manufactured by an Indian company, Maiden Pharmaceuticals, which had failed to provide guarantees about the safety. NAFDAC said although the drugs are not expected to be in Nigeria, as it has not been ratified by the agency, Nigerians should stay vigilant.
Following our active participation in the WHO member state mechanism on substandard and falsified medical products, NAFDAC is leaving no stone unturned in ensuring that these products do not cause harm to our people. This alert has been widely circulated on our website and all social media handles and sent to all healthcare providers in our database, as well as professional bodies and associations in the medicine supply chain. In addition, we have put appropriate measures in place to prevent entry of these spurious products from the various ports of entry and have activated our internal surveillance mechanisms to mop up these products from the supply chain pipeline if they ever are found in our own country.
The Nigerian Association for Engineering, Geology and the Environment is pledged to work with stakeholders and the government to shape the development of infrastructure in Nigeria. The group made this known during its 7th annual international conference held in Lagos on Tuesday. Speaking at the event, the president of the association, Waliu Adeolu, says owing to the rising number of building collapses in the state, the group has increased its advocacy and has entrenched best engineering and geological practices to stem the tide of the menace.
The Nigeria National Executive Council would like to note that our efforts at entrenching engineering geological practice in Nigeria are receiving a boost with recent advocacy we have embarked upon. Consequently, the nation's national building code and its domestication in Lagos are being reviewed. This is directed at stemming the incessant building collapse, the loss of irreparable human resources and material properties, and the associated environmental degradation. NAEGE is playing a leading role in this process. We also wish to use this medium to remind our NAEGE members about our project Engineering Geological Mapping of Cities, and we call on all to support the idea with geo-referenced and reliable geotechnical data towards the realization of this goal for urban planning and development.
NAEGE and NMGS would work closely with government to advise decision makers and to shape opinions and to serve as a major force in the development of infrastructure in the coming years. We are privileged to have strong presence in the new generation of engineering and environmental geologists, that is, the young engineering geologists.
As an administration, we have taken proactive measures to upgrade many agencies to meet with the new challenges we have experienced. For instance, we have repositioned the Lagos State Materials Testing Laboratory, which is an agency established and charged with the responsibility of carrying out geotechnics testing, all building and civil engineering materials for standard, including soil mechanics, subsoil investigation, aggregate, cement, water, and chemical test on concrete, blocks, and all other paraphernalia of construction.
Well, we'll take a break here, but still to come. International Monetary Fund, IMF, downgrades Nigeria's 2022 growth prospect. Details of this story and more right after this break. Is a recap of some of our top stories tonight. President Muhammadu Buhari has presented national honors to 447 Nigerians and friends of the country. Atahiru Ibrahim, the former Chief of Army Staff, and Abba Kyari, the former Chief of Staff to the President, were awarded a posthumous honor. We also told you that the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, has raised the alarm over the use of 4 cough syrups linked to acute kidney injuries and children's deaths in the Gambia. NAFDAC said although the drugs are not expected to be in Nigeria, As it has not been ratified by the agency, Nigerians should stay vigilant. Well, in case you missed any of our news bulletin or for more updates, do log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube and Google Plus at TV360 Nigeria. On Facebook, we are TV360 Online. Japan has fully opened its doors to visitors after more than 2 years of pandemic isolation. On Tuesday, the country reinstated visa-free travel to dozens of countries, ending some of the world's strictest COVID-19 border controls. The Chinese government further disclosed that it has also lifted the 50,000-person entry cap and ended the requirements for tourists to travel as part of tour groups. 36 Chinese cities are under various degrees of lockdown or control, affecting around 196.9 million people. In China's southern tech hub, Shenzhen, where the highly transmissible BF7 Omicron subvariant has surfaced, local cases more than tripled to 33 on October 10 from a day earlier. Inbound travelers will be subject to 3 tests over 3 days, authorities in the city of 18 million people said on Tuesday. We'll take a breather here and return with more stories and business. To stay with us.
Opinions are free, facts are sacred, but truth is universal.
How, in practical terms, can we, for instance, de-escalate the tension?
President must see himself as the President of the Federal Republic.
We know where the enemy is. 3 places, the Lake Chad Basin, the border area between Nigeria and Cameroon, and then the Sambisa Forest.
On TV360, we give you a complete dose of everything. Opinion, facts and undiluted truth.
I hardly believe what politicians say in this part of the world.
A new Nigeria is possible, a future is possible.
We delve into the issues, dissect it so that you can understand it, and use it to take action.
I don't think there's any need for any governor to look for grant for ranching.
TV360, dissecting the issues.
Welcome back. In business, the International Monetary Fund (IMF) has downgraded Nigeria's economic growth projection to 3.2% in 2022. The downgrade is 0.2 percentage points lower than the 3.4% projected in its July 2022 report. The Washington-based institution disclosed this on Tuesday in its World Economic Outlook for October 2022. By implication, the economic activities would slow down in Nigeria and across the world as nations use fiscal and monetary instruments to tame rising food prices. We'll take a breather here and return with a review of the stock market. The domestic markets appreciated by Tuesday 0.45% to end bullish. The all-share index also climbed to close at 47,565 basis points, while market capitalization stands at 25.9 trillion. May and Baker Nigeria and Ikeja Hotel PLC led the gainers counter with 5 naira 29 kobo. On the flip side, the losers group is led by University Press and Cadbury Nigeria with a total loss of 12 naira 90 kobo. At the end of today's trading session, a total of 125 million volume of shares with a market value of over 1 billion naira were traded in 4,188 deals. Well, let's now turn our attention to select global stocks. To the UK's FTSE and Japan's Nikkei closed in the bears at 1.06% and 2.64%, leaving the US Dow Jones alone in the bulls at 0.69%. And on the foreign scene, Nobel Peace Laureate Malala Yousafzai on Tuesday arrived in a native Pakistan to visit flood victims 10 years after a Taliban assassination attempt against her. Malala landed in the southern city of Karachi, from where she would travel to areas devastated by unprecedented monsoon flooding. Her visit aims to help keep international attention focused on the impact of floods in Pakistan and reinforce the need for critical humanitarian aid. Well, up next is Entertainment Report on News Now.
Singer Harry Song has been arrested by officers of the Lagos State Police Command shortly after he arrived in Nigeria on Tuesday morning. The police public relations officer SP Benjamin Hundeyin confirmed the incident. The Lagos PPRO said Harry Song's arrest was in connection with a petition written by music executive Soso Sobarenkon. This is coming barely a week after Harry Song had accused the music executive of trying to kill him. Reacting to the accusation, Sobarenkon, through his lawyers, sent a defamation notice to Harry Song, wherein he demanded for a retraction of the statement, an apology, and 500 million naira for compensation. Reality TV star Patrick Fakoya, aka Rico Suave, has been involved in a ghastly motor accident. The former BB Niger Season 3 Double Wahala housemate is reportedly in critical condition as he battles for life after the crash on Tuesday morning. Alex called for prayers from all and sundry as she disclosed doctors were still trying to revive the 25-year-old at the time she left the hospital. Well, that's it on the entertainment segment of News Now.
And in sports, Nigeria's Flamingos have begun their campaign at the 2022 Under-17 Women's World Cup, where they face Germany on Tuesday. The girls will be playing in Group B of the competition taking place in India hours after the group's other side, Chile and New Zealand, do battle on the same pitch. Since its inception in 2008, Nigeria has qualified for all editions of the competition except the 2018 tournament, but have never gone past the quarterfinals. The best outings were in 2010, 2012 and 2014, where they finished in the last 8. And that's the size of our news bulletin. Many thanks for watching. I am Folashade Ogorinde.